Transportation Systems Management. So today in this session we'll be discussing Module 1. The topic is relevance of TSM actions in Indian context, and we'll also be discussing about the various measures for improving vehicular flow, and we'll be starting the topic signal improvement, and the detailed design of signals we'll be discussing in the next video. So first, as an introduction on the relevance of TSM actions in Indian context, we'll be discussing about the various traffic regulations and controls which we are adopting in India, and the design also will be discussing as per the Indian standards. So in order to have safe traffic on roads, we know that it is desirable to impose certain traffic regulations and traffic controls, and this is imposed with the help of standard traffic control devices. The traffic regulations and controls are implemented with the help of suitable regulatory signs, signals, markings on the road, then traffic islands. So they are also there. Certain devices like these, like regulatory signs, signals, markings on the road, traffic islands, all these devices help you to regulate and control the traffic on the roads. The various regulations imposed through the traffic control devices, these should fulfill certain requirements, and they are: first one, it should be clearly visible during day and night. So whatever be the traffic regulations and control we are implementing on the road, it should be clearly visible during day and night. Then it should be easy to recognize and understand, because any person who may be the person or the driver may be illiterate, sometimes he may be highly qualified. So irrespective of that, it should be very simple. The signal should be very simple to understand, and it should be easily recognized. Then another important requirement is that there should be sufficient time for the driver to react and follow the regulation. Okay, sometimes it is it's a signal, so you are moving with a particular speed in that road, so suddenly the signal is changing from say stop to from go to stop. So in that the driver will face it difficult, because he is moving at a particular speed. Suddenly he'll have to stop the vehicle. So that will cause discomfort to the driver, and also that may cause accidents. So the thing is, we have to the signals should be such that they should be designed such that there should be sufficient time for the driver who is moving at a particular designed speed along the road. Even that driver who is moving with a particular velocity should be able to react and follow that particular regulation. And the last and the most important requirement is that it should ensure safety in general. So safety is the most important aspect. So the traffic regulations and laws, they cover the following four phases. So one is called as the driver control, second one vehicle controls, then third one is the traffic flow regulations. We'll be discussing more on that topic, and general controls. So the controls on drivers include eligibility for driving motor vehicles, issue of driving license, and other regulations on the drivers during the act of driving. So that is meant by driver controls. We know that as per the Motor Vehicle Act, we have minimum age for getting a driving license. For a non-geared two-wheeler, we know the minimum age is 16 years, and for driving a geared two-wheeler, we know the minimum age is 18 years. Similarly, for a four-wheeler also it is 18 years minimum age. So these are the controls which are imposed as per the Motor Vehicle Act on the driver. Similarly, We also know that in order to drive a motor vehicle, you should have a valid driving license. If you drive without having a driving license, a valid driving license, and it is an offense. Similarly, before the issue of driving license for a specified category of vehicle, one has to undergo a series of tests or specified tests, and the driver is expected to demonstrate his ability to drive the vehicle safely, and we have to go to the test sport, and we have to prove, we have to show that we are conversant with the motor vehicle rules and regulations. There will be a test, and all these rules will be there, because when we are taking the learner's license, there is a test, and to check whether you're familiar with the vehicle rules and regulations. Then a different category of vehicles based on, we have light motor vehicles, public transport vehicles are there, heavy commercial vehicles are there. So for different category of vehicles, the requirements are different, different tests are there, different eligibility conditions are there. So these are the regulations which are prohibiting driving under the influence of and also there are other regulations which prohibit driving under the influence of alcohol, or drunken driving, or dangerous driving, that is exceeding the specified speed limits. All these will cause penalty, or that may even lead to suspending your driving license for a specified period, or permanently your driving license will be disqualified or cancelled. So all these are there. These are there as per the Motor Vehicle Act. And we have RTO, that is a Regional Transport Officer, who has the powers to endorse upon the driving license the particulars of the traffic violations, and when the number and severity of the violations exceed the permissible limit, the license can be suspended or even cancelled. So all these comes under the driver control. Then we have vehicle control, that is certain regulations and controls on the vehicles. So that includes the vehicle registration, requirements of equipments and accessories for motor vehicles, maximum permissible dimensions and weight, then vehicle fitness, vehicle inspection, all that. The registration is essential for new motor vehicle that we know. The information about the details of the vehicle, such as type, make, capacity of engine, manufacturer's serial number, details of the owner, license plate number, etc., are registered in the transport department and police records. And there are different specifications for public transport vehicles, hired vehicles, private vehicles, etc., for displaying the registration number. We know that for private vehicles, the number plate, there is a specification for the size of letters and numerals, that is, it is written in black color on white background. A plate is white, and on that in black color the numbers and everything is written. Similarly, there is specification for the registration plate for public transport vehicles, including hired vehicles. So here the plate is yellow. Similarly, for the length, width, height, type and condition of tires, maximum weight of commercial vehicles, seating arrangements, number of seats in public service vehicles, then lamps, signaling appliances, emission, noise, use of horn, speed governors, safety classes, etc. All these they are based on certain specifications only. You can keep in your vehicle. Okay, at least a third party insurance policy is also mandatory for all vehicles, so insurance is also a must. So these all comes under the vehicle controls. Then we have general regulations and control, that is the traffic flow regulations and general control. So coming to that, some other regulations which are provided, that is it includes reporting of accidents, recording and disposing traffic violation cases, etc. So the traffic regulations have been enacted and implemented in India with the help of the Motor Vehicle Act of 1939 and the revised Motor Vehicle Act of 1988. These have covered various traffic regulatory measures in three major phases, namely control on drivers, control on vehicle ownership, and vehicle operation on roads and in traffic stream. The various items covered are issue of driving license, registration of vehicle, transfer of ownership, distinction between private and public vehicles, transport authorities and interstate commission, limits of speed, weight, restrictions on parking and halting places, vehicle insurance and fees, signs, signals and general provisions for punishment of violation and offences. Some of the most common traffic flow regulations, such as one-way regulation, turning restriction at junctions. So these are very important for this subject, that is one-way regulation and turning restrictions at the junctions. Various other regulations such as stop, speed limit, restrictions on overtaking, parking, stopping, etc. are also implemented by the use of appropriate regulatory signs. So now we will be discussing on the methods of improving the vehicular flow. The first one is the one-way streets. So in a congested street, one of the methods to reduce severe vehicle accidents and to ensure smooth flow of traffic is by regulating traffic along one-way streets. That means what? The traffic is allowed to move only in one direction, only in one specified direction, as you can see here. So such a regulation is possible only when there is a network of roads connecting two bigger roads, so that the additional distance to be traversed by some vehicles through these one-way streets is not excessive. So if you have to travel a long distance, ഓക്കെ, ഒരുപാട് നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ കറങ്ങിയൊക്കെ വരേണ്ടി വന്നാൽ നമുക്കത് അങ്ങനെയുള്ള സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ ഇത് ഫീസിബിൾ അല്ല. So as a general guideline, the Indian Roads Congress or IRC suggested that due to the introduction of one-way regulation, the extra distance to be travelled does not exceed about 30% of the original distance. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഒറിജിനലി നമുക്കിപ്പോൾ A to B ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് എടുക്കുന്ന ദൂരം ഓക്കെ, പക്ഷെ കറങ്ങി നമ്മൾ ഈ വൺ വേ സ്ട്രീറ്റ് ആയതുകൊണ്ട് കറങ്ങി വരേണ്ടി വരുമല്ലോ. അങ്ങനെ വരുമ്പോൾ ഉള്ള ദൂരം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് A to B ഡിസ്റ്റൻസിൻ്റെ 30% കൂടാൻ പാടില്ല. അങ്ങനെ വരുന്ന സ്ഥലത്ത് എന്ത് ഫീസിബിൾ അല്ല? വൺ വേ സ്ട്രീറ്റ്സ് ഫീസിബിൾ അല്ല. അതല്ല എങ്കിൽ മാത്രം, അതല്ലാതെ ഒരു പാരലൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു റോഡ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മാത്രം, കണക്റ്റിംഗ് ടു ബിഗർ റോഡ്സ്, നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് ഓഫ് റോഡ്സ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ നമുക്ക് ഈ വൺ വേ സ്ട്രീറ്റ് എന്നുള്ള ഒരു മെഷർ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ ഒരു വെഹിക്കുലർ ഫ്ലോ ഇംപ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഈ ഒരു സ്ട്രാറ്റജി നമുക്ക് അഡോപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിക്കുകയുള്ളൂ. ഓക്കെ, so this one-way street is feasible only when the complementary roads are available at a fairly close interval, and proper care should be taken to study the pattern of the displaced traffic as a result of one-way street system. Installation of appropriate traffic signs and lane marking are essential before the introduction of one-way system. Appropriate regulatory signs such as no entry, one way, no right turn, then no left turn, etc. All these should be erected at all strategic locations, especially at the end of the one-way street and also at the meeting point of the crossroads. Because these signals are very important, these regulatory signals, along with supplementary regulation signs, that means blue colored circular signboards, they should be installed at appropriate locations. And these two, that means the signals and also the the main regulatory signs like no entry, one way, etc., and supplementary signs, all these are essential, and they should be installed at appropriate locations, and they provide advance information on the regulatory signs ahead. In order to scientifically plan and introduce a one-way road system in a city, it is desirable to first consider the existing road network as a whole and also arrange to carry out comprehensive traffic studies in the city. So there are so many advantages for this one-way road system. One thing, first and foremost, you will get you will be able to travel at an increased speed. As a result, there will be more effective coordination. There should be more effective coordination of the signal system. Slight increase in roadway capacity will be increased normally, because as the travel speed is more, the volume of traffic also gets improved. More streamlined movement of vehicles, they travel along the streamline. Okay, that means there won't be like any zigzag or cross movement of the traffic. Then there is chances of reduction. Then there are chances of reduction in severe accidents involving head-on collision. So head-on means two vehicles from two directions colliding each other, but that can be reduced here because all the vehicles are moving in the same direction. Reduction in conflict points at uncontrolled intersection at a grade or at a slope, thereby reduction in the number of accidents. And also improved pedestrian movement is also possible, whereas there are certain disadvantages, that is increase in the travel distance for majority of vehicles. So since നമ്മൾ കറങ്ങി പോകേണ്ടി വരും, അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ട്രാവൽ ഡിസ്റ്റൻസ് കൂടുതലായിരിക്കും. പോസിബിൾ ഇൻക്രീസ് ഇൻ ഫ്യൂവൽ കോസ്റ്റ്, possibility of violation of one-way regulation. So in order to save that extra distance ഇത്രയും ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു വിമുഖത കാരണം ആളുകൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യും, ഈ ഒരു വൺ വേ സ്ട്രീറ്റിൽ നോ എൻട്രി ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പോലും അത് ശ്രദ്ധിക്കാതെ അതിലേക്ക് ശ്രദ്ധിച്ച് മറിഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ അത് വയലേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ആ ഒരു വഴി കയറും. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ വരുമ്പോൾ അവിടെ സ്ട്രിക്റ്റ് എൻഫോഴ്സ്മെൻറ്റ് ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ അഡീഷണൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള നമ്മൾ പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കാത്ത എക്സ്ട്രാ ആക്സിഡൻറ്റ്സ് അവിടെ നടക്കും. അപ്പോൾ ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട് ഫോർ പെഡസ്ട്രിയൻസ് ടു ക്രോസ് ദി വൈഡ് വൺ വേ റോഡ്. അപ്പോൾ വൺ വേ റോഡ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ടു വേ ഉള്ള റോഡാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് പകുതി ക്രോസ് ചെയ്ത് നടക്കുന്ന ബാക്കി ക്രോസ് ചെയ്യാം. പക്ഷേ ഇവിടെ വരുമ്പോൾ വൈഡ് ആയതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ പെഡസ്ട്രിയൻ ആക്സിഡൻസിനുള്ള ചാൻസസ് ക്രോസിങ് സമയത്ത് ഉണ്ടാവാനുള്ള സാധ്യതയും കൂടുതലാണ്. ഓക്കെ, ദെൻ നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു ട്രാഫിക് കൺട്രോളിനകത്ത് സിഗ്നൽ ഇംപ്രൂവ്മെൻറ്റ് എന്നുള്ളൊരു ടോപ്പിക്കിൽ ട്രാഫിക് വേരിയസ് aids and devices are used to regulate and guide the traffic. അങ്ങനെയാണ് ട്രാഫിക് കൺട്രോൾ ഡിവൈസസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള ട്രാഫിക് കൺട്രോൾ ഡിവൈസസിനകത്ത് വരുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് ട്രാഫിക് സൈൻസ്, ട്രാഫിക് സിഗ്നൽസ്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ അത് രണ്ടും നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു. റോഡ് മാർക്കിംഗ് ആൻഡ് ട്രാഫിക് ഐലൻഡ്. സോ ട്രാഫിക് ഐലൻഡ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് എ സോളിഡ് ഓർ പെയിൻറ്റഡ് ഓബ്ജെക്റ്റ് ഇൻ എ റോഡ് ദാറ്റ് ചാനലൈസസ് ദി ട്രാഫിക്. ഇറ്റ് ക്യാൻ ഓൾസോ ബി a narrow strip of island, ജസ്റ്റ് ചെറിയൊരു ട്രയാങ്കിൾ ഷേപ്പിലോ ഒരു അക്യൂട്ട് ആംഗിൾ ഷേപ്പ് ഒരു ഇതിൽ റോഡിൻ്റെ സെൻറ്ററിൽ ഇൻസെക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യും, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ഷേപ്പ്. സോ ഇഫ് ദ ഐലൻഡ് യൂസസ് റോഡ് മാർക്കിങ്സ് വൺലി, മാർക്കിംഗ് മാത്രമേ ഉള്ളൂ, വിത്തൗട്ട് എനി റേസ്ഡ് കർവ് ഓർ ഫിസിക്കൽ ഒബ്സ്ട്രക്ഷൻ ഒന്നും ഇല്ല എങ്കിൽ അതിനെ പെയിൻറ്റഡ് ഐലൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയും. ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മുടെ റോഡുകളിൽ അങ്ങനത്തെ നമ്മൾ കാണാറുണ്ട്. ചിലപ്പോൾ നടുക്ക് ഭാഗത്ത് ജസ്റ്റ് പെയിൻറ്റിങ്സ്, അതായത് വൈറ്റിൻ്റെ പല അടുത്തൊരു ഫിഗറിൽ കാണാം. അപ്പോൾ ഇതുപോലെയുള്ള പെയിൻറ്റിങ്സ് മാത്രം ഉള്ള ടൈപ്പാണെങ്കിൽ പെയിൻറ്റഡ് ഐലൻഡ് എന്ന് പറയും. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു കൺസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ പോലെ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, ഇപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു ടൈപ്പ് നോക്കൂ, ഇവിടെ സെൻട്രൽ ഐലൻഡ് ഉണ്ട്. സെൻട്രൽ ഐലൻഡിൻ്റെ കർവേച്ചർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ദ സൈസ് ഓഫ് ദി റൗണ്ട് അബൌട്ട് and the angles of entry are designed to slow the vehicle speeds. Then we have pedestrian crossing എന്നുള്ള zebra crossing മാർക്ക് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. Then we have this traffic flow circulatory roadway marking ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ട്രക്ക് ഏപ്രൺ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദെയർ അറ്റ് ദ സെൻറ്റർ, സെൻട്രൽ ഐലൻഡിന് ചുറ്റും. അപ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയുള്ള മാർക്കിങ്സ് ഈ ഒരു ഐലൻഡിലുണ്ട്. ദിസ് ഇസ് ആക്ച്വൽ ഫിഗർ. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു ആക്ച്വൽ അതിനകത്ത് യു ക്യാൻ സീ ദി മാർക്കിങ്സ് ആൻഡ് ദി traffic island. Okay, so these are the different traffic control devices, like നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ തന്നെ അതിനകത്ത് ഈ പറഞ്ഞ എല്ലാ ട്രാഫിക് കൺട്രോൾ ഡിവൈസസിനും കുറച്ച് കോമൺ ആയിട്ടുള്ള അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിൻ്റെ കുറച്ച് ചീഫ് ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് വൺ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചീഫ് റിക്വയർമെൻറ്റ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ വൺ ഇസ് അറ്റൻഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ദീസ് ഷുഡ് ബി ലൈക്ക് ദി ഇതിപ്പോൾ എവിടെ വെച്ചാലും ഇറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ഡ്രോ ദി അറ്റൻഷൻ ഓഫ് ദി ഡ്രൈവേഴ്സ്. നമുക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു സ്ഥലത്തായിരിക്കണം അതിനെ വെക്കുന്നത്. ദെൻ ഇറ്റ് ഷുഡ് ഹാവ് മീനിങ്. ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് ദർ ഷുഡ് ബി എനി ആംബിക്വിറ്റി. Okay, it should convey the meaning without any confusions or ambiguity. Then time for response and respect for road users. So the location should be such that there should be sufficient time for the driver to respond and take appropriate action. Okay, so these are the different requirements for the traffic control devices. Now we will see in detail each of the regulatory signs. So this is a regulatory sign. They are also called as mandatory signs. So regulatory or mandatory signs. These signs are meant to inform the road users of certain laws, regulations and prohibitions. Like here you can see violation of any of the regulatory sign is a legal offense and that is punishable. So as you can see here, the regulatory signs, most of them are circular in shape, like stop sign or except only two exceptions you can see. One is the stop sign. So stop sign is octagonal in the shape and the give way sign, that is in the shape of an inverted triangle. So except for those two, that is the stop sign and give way sign, all the other regulatory or mandatory signs are circular in shape. So you can see the border is red colored and the width is 60 millimeter and white color in the interior portion. Okay, then but even then no entry sign, that is full red in color, and so there are certain changes. Okay, and restriction end signs, so all that is there. Similarly we have warning signs. So warning signs means they are in the shape of equilateral triangle with its apex is pointing towards the upward direction. It is apex is pointing upwards. So they have a white background or red or black symbols. Warning signs അല്ലെങ്കിൽ cautionary signs. They are used to warn the road users of certain hazardous conditions that exist or that is near the roadway. So like we have sharp curve, slippery road, cycle crossing, pedestrian crossing, men at work. So all these can be unguarded railway crossing is there, falling rock, beware of surfboard area, non-ionizing radiation hazard is there. So all these hazards etc will be will get warning from these signals. Then we have informatory signs. The informatory signs are rectangular in shape. You can see here they are used to guide the road users along the routes, inform them of destination and the distance, thus providing with information to make the travel easier, safe and pleasant. Normally the color depends on the classification of the road. For national highways and state highways, the informatory signs shall be of green background with the borders, and word messages are in white color. For all other categories of roads such as major district road, other district road, village road etc., these signs shall have a white background with borders and word messages in black color. So that is how you that is the difference between the color of the informatory sign in national highway, state highway, and also in major district road, other district road, and village road. So if it is green, then you can infer that it is NH or SH, state highway, and if it is in black, you can see that it is MDR, major district road, other district road, or village road. So these information signs can also be grouped under different subheads or subcategories. We can have direction and place identification signs are there. Then facility information signs are there. You can see hospital, resting place, railway station, bus stop, etc., police station, etc. Other useful information signs, parking signs, you can see parking both sides, that is there. Then taxi stand, okay. Then flood gauge. So all that these are the different types of informatory signs. Then the general principles to be observed during installation of traffic signs. The first one is that the sign should be placed such that they could be seen and recognized by the road users easily and in time. The transverse location of the signs may be such that, in the case of roads with curbs, the edge of the sign adjacent to the road is not less than 0.6 meter away from the edge of the curb. So 0.6 meter should be the distance. The transverse location of the sign on roads without curbs, if the road is not having any curb, then the nearest edge may be 2 to 3 meter from the edge of the carriageway. So that is here it is 2 to 3 if there is no curb. If there is curb, it should be 0.6 meter away. The signs should be mounted on signposts which are painted alternately with 25 centimeter black and white bands. The size, shape, color code, and the symbols used and the location of the signs should be as specified under each category. The reverse side of the sign plate should be painted in grey color. So these are the different principles which are to be followed while installing the traffic signs, and in the next video we'll be discussing about the traffic signals in detail. Okay, thank you.